How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Weather Sponge 5000, and today we're going to focus on the major severe weather threat that's expected to impact the Midwest as well as portions of the East Coast as well. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar for the United States, and as you can see, we do have some thunder showers right around the North Dakota area, and we do have some thunder showers as well extending southward into Minnesota as well as Wisconsin. We also do have a little bit of thunder showers happening right now in Missouri and a little bit in the Northeast as well. So for the most part, none of these thunderstorms embedded with a lot in these rain bands are necessarily severe, but we have to keep in mind that it's still early in the morning hours. So of course the atmosphere isn't unstabilized just yet, but we expect the atmosphere to become more unstable, which should support for a more impactful severe weather threat later today. But we do have this severe thunderstorm that's just to the northwest of Mason City, Iowa. So if you're around that location, you need to watch out for large hail and damaging winds as a primary threat. But later today, we could even see the threat of isolated tornadoes. A tornado threat isn't necessarily extremely high for today, but it certainly does exist when we're talking about severe weather threats in threats like this. So if we were to take a look at the current temperatures for the United States, you see why there's a severe weather threat, because look at the temperatures right around the Pacific Northwest towards the Rocky Mountain region, where we're seeing temperatures drop down to the 40s and even 30s in some cases, while just to the east of those cool temperatures are much warmer, hovering more around the 50s and 60s. And I do expect the temperature to rise even more once the sunlight reaches the surface and we get more short wave radiation from the sun. So the instability should get higher as the day goes on, which should lead to just enough lift and convection in the atmosphere for our next major severe weather threat to occur for the Midwest. And we also do see a little bit of instability occurring here along the East Coast and further westward as well, where you see right around the Northeast, temperatures are mainly hovering right around the 50s and 60s, while just south of that, we're seeing temperatures in the 80s and even 90s in some cases closer to North Carolina, which should allow for the severe weather threat to extend further southeastward as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, I'm taking a look at what the GFS model is stating at this time. So we've been talking about this low pressure system for a couple of days now, and I stated that this likely would become our next major severe weather threat because we do have an abundance of cold air that's just so west of this low pressure system, and it's going to force its way into this very warm air mass we're seeing as a result of a very strong Bermuda ridge that's bringing a strong southerly flow throughout the eastern half of the United States, bringing up the temperatures all throughout the eastern half of the United States. And as that interaction between the cooler Arctic air and that warm air mass occurs, we're just going to see a lot of lift in the atmosphere for a major severe weather threat to occur around the northern Midwest, and this could extend further eastward as well into the Great Lakes. And of course, we do have a little bit of instability occurring here along the East Coast. So if I were to continue to move forward, what's very interesting is that we're still seeing snow in the higher elevations, even though we're approaching the month of June. So that really emphasizes how cold this air is just to the west of this storm. And even looking at the millibar pressure of this low pressure, it's around 989 millibars, which is quite strong for a low pressure system developing off of baroclinic influences later during the spring, where we typically don't see low pressure systems develop this powerful unless it's a tropical storm or a hurricane this late into the spring and into the summer. So that's only something to keep in mind. And you see that we do see some thunder showers occurring here in North Dakota, South Dakota, and extending to Minnesota as well. So you need to pay very close attention to the severe weather threat today, as it should be the worst right in between Iowa, South Dakota, as well as Minnesota. That's where the instability should be the highest, and that's where the most lift should be. If we were to take a look at the convective available potential energy levels for today, you're going to see that we do have just enough to where we're going to see a severe weather threat because the air pressure is going to be so low on the surface. And the certainty for this storm, for this severe weather outbreak, by the way, is very high at this point. It doesn't seem likely that you won't experience a severe weather outbreak. Now, of course, these thunderstorms will be isolated, so there is a chance that you do miss out on the thunderstorms for today, but it's going to be very scattered, the thunderstorms, and even though it might not necessarily be a line of thunderstorms, there's still going to be a high frequency thunderstorms developing along that cold front. So the chance certainly exists for you to experience a severe thunderstorm for today, as there's an enhanced risk right around Minnesota, the southwestern portion of Minnesota, and other areas as well. And if I were to continue to move even forward, you see that this convective available potential energy extends through Tennessee, through Kentucky. Like I said, there is enough instability right around northeast to induce that, and you see that we could see a severe weather threat extend into tomorrow further eastward towards Michigan, maybe Indiana, Illinois. I'd say the severe weather threat will still probably be mostly moderate. Large hail and damaging winds should be the main threat, but that's still something you need to pay close attention to for today. So make sure to keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of lift in the atmosphere. And in terms of the tornado threat, thankfully, this doesn't seem like there's going to be the worst of there's going to be necessarily a major tornado threat, because if we were to take a look at the winds between the surface level and the upper levels of the atmosphere, you see that while there is a change in wind direction with height, the wind speed isn't necessarily changing very fast, which is inducing which is preventing a major tornado threat from occurring right around the northern Midwest. So that's certainly good news that the tornado threat should be limited for today and even into tomorrow, as there just isn't enough wind shear to really create a powerful tornado threat. So that's certainly good news, but large hail and damaging winds should still be a major threat for a lot of the Midwest. So make sure to keep that in mind. And if we were to take a look at the Futurecast radar, so taking a look at when you should expect the severe weather to occur, I'd say the severe weather should impact you guys right around 5 p.m. In the Midwest, and you see that we could see severe weather come as early as the mid to late afternoon for Minneapolis, and we do see those thunderstorms extend into Wisconsin and Iowa as well. And we do see a little bit of severe thunderstorms occurring right around the late afternoon hours through Kentucky, North Carolina. So that's definitely something to pay attention to as well. So make sure to pay close attention to that, as this severe weather threat should be major for a lot of people throughout the United States. Now, here's a risk from the Storm Prediction Center of severe weather, and you see that there's an enhanced risk right between Illinois, Indiana, right along the Ohio River Valley, and we do see an enhanced risk right around Minnesota, the northern portion of Iowa, as well as Wisconsin. And if we were to take a look at the chance of damaging winds and hail, you see that they're quite high, while a tornado threat is low, which is certainly good news, but damaging winds and large hail are still more than enough to cause damage to your property, and it's definitely a risk to be outside during a severe thunderstorm. You don't want any sort of branches or debris falling in your way, because that could easily injure a person, unfortunately. So you definitely still want to pay close attention to this. Large hail, damaging wind should be a pretty big threat, so make sure to keep that in mind. And if we were to take a look throughout Michigan and Illinois for the day 2 outlook, there's a smaller chance of severe weather, as the low pressure system should move a little bit northeastward, which should limit the instability just a little bit, but the severe weather threat still exists. But day 3, we should see the severe weather threat finally subside for most of the United States, which is certainly good news. And taking a look at where I'm expecting the worst of severe weather, so major severe weather should be expected through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and moderate severe weather for a lot of those along the Ohio River Valley and further southward into North Carolina as well. And we could see that severe weather threat extend to Michigan for tomorrow. It might not necessarily be today, but tomorrow you should experience at least some severe thunderstorms in Michigan. So make sure to stay prepared for large hail and damaging winds throughout the United States. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. And I hope you guys all have a great day.